Hi everyone, and welcome back. This is Unit 1.2, Multiplying Integers, and this is page 71. Go ahead and put today's date up there in the box for me, and you don't need to put your name and class hour unless it's not on the first one, so make sure you have all that. And let's take a look at today's objectives. So the first thing we're going to be looking at, obviously, is to multiply integers. And the second thing we're going to take a look at is simplify algebraic expressions. Okay, so we're going to multiply integers and we're going to simplify algebraic expressions. All right, so if you'll notice for this one, there's a rule to follow, and it says multiply and divide. It's an easy thought. Same signs are positive, different signs are not. Well, whenever you multiply integers, there are rules that we use, and this is what the rule is. And it actually goes to a song, which is row, row, row your boat. All right, so here's how it actually goes. And yes, I'm going to sing to you. Okay, it goes like this. Multiply and divide, it's an easy thought. Same signs are positive, different signs are not. One more time. Multiply and divide, it's an easy thought. Same signs are positive, different signs are not. Okay? Now I want you to sing it with me this time, or at least kind of to yourself. All right? Multiply and divide, it's an easy thought. Same signs are positive, different signs are not. All right, so sounds great, but what does it mean? All right, well, exactly what it says. Multiply and divide, it's an easy thought. Multiplying and dividing integers is the easy part. Adding and subtracting is the part that gets a little bit tricky. All right, we're going to learn that a little bit later on. So it says same signs are positive. Well, think about what would same signs mean. That would mean a positive times a positive or a negative times a negative, right? Okay, so if you have a positive times a positive, obviously that's a positive. 5 times 2 is 10. We've known that for 3 or 4 years now, so that's no big deal. All right. What we're going to learn today is a double negative is also going to make a positive, and I'll explain why here in a little bit. It's kind of a strange concept for people, but I'll explain it to you. I'll give you a little demo here in a little bit to show you what that is. Then it says different signs are not. So not means not positive, so in this case that would mean negative. Well, what are different signs? That would be a positive times, whoops, let's try that again. A positive times a negative or a negative times a positive. Okay? So that's what different signs mean. So let's work through a few of these and let's just try the first few. All right, let's take a look at example 1. It says negative 3 times 12. Well, when you multiply integers, and remember that an integer is just any positive or negative whole number, what you do is you multiply the numbers first. All right, so let's just get the number and then we'll come back and get the sign. That's the way to do it. So we do 3 times 12, which we know is 36. Now we need to come back and actually figure out what the sign is. So we have a negative times a positive. Well, then we go back to the rules. Do we have same signs or do we have different signs? In this case, we have different. One's negative, one's positive. Well, the rule is multiply and divide. It's an easy thought. Same signs are positive, different signs are not. Okay, so it's not positive, which makes it negative. All right, let's try it again. Same thing here, only it's reversed. We have a positive times a negative. So we have 7 times 4, or 4 times 7. That's going to give us 28. We have different signs. So multiply and divide, it's an easy thought. Same signs are positive, different signs are not. So this also is going to be negative then. Okay, go ahead and pause it. Let's try 1A and 1B all by ourselves and come back to me just as soon as you're ready. All right, let's take a look. So we have 7 times negative 8. So we have 7 times 8, which gives us 56. We have different signs. Same signs are positive, different signs are not. So that makes it negative. Okay, let's take a look at 1b. So negative 6 times 12. So we have 72. And then again, we have different signs are not, so that makes it negative. All right? So you might be asking yourself, well, how is a positive times a negative a negative? Okay, well, let's take a look. Let's do this. Remember that multiplication is just adding over and over and over and over again. All right, so let me give you a real easy example that I can draw really quick. So let's take negative 2 times 2. Now, we know that the answer is going to be negative 4, right? Well, why is it negative? Well, what this means is that there are two groups of negative 2. So if I draw two negatives and another group of two negatives, okay, how many do I have? Well, I have 4 ends, and they are negatives, so that makes it 4 negatives. All right? Whereas 2 times 2, which would be positive times a positive, so if I have two positives and another group of two positives, how many do I have? I have 4 positives, right? Okay, oops. Sorry, I got too close to the edge there. All right, so that makes it 4 then. All right, that's why it works. All right, so let's take a look at the next part then. So we have negatives times negatives. This thing is really jumpy, sorry. There we go. We have negatives times negatives. Same thing here. We're going to get the number first, and then we're going to figure out what the sign is. So let's just figure out the number. So we have 5 times 7, which would be 35. Now we refer back to our rule, which is same signs are positive, different signs are not. So we have same signs, and it's going to be positive. So two negatives make a positive. And I'll explain this one here in just in a moment why it works. Just get the answers for now, and then I'll explain why here in a little bit. Okay, so we have b, which is negative 8 times negative 14. And let's see, so 8 times 14, that's 112. Okay, so if I have 112, we have a double negative, and that's going to make it a positive. All right, now, some people it helps think about English class, right? Last time we talked about antonyms, this time we're talking about double negatives, right? When you have a double negative in your sentences, that actually means a positive, right? It's the same thing in math. Two negatives make a positive, all right? Kind of like the old saying is, even though we say two wrongs don't make a right, but that's kind of where that comes from, all right? So two negatives actually turn into a positive. All right, go ahead and pause it, and let's try got it 2a and 2b by ourselves, and come back to me just as soon as you're ready. And let's take a look. So we have negative 5 times negative 11. So we have 5 times 11, which is 55. It's a double negative, so that's actually a positive. Okay, 2b, negative 13 times 4. That's going to give us 52. And again, it's going to be positive because of the double negatives. Here's a little trick that my 7th grade teacher taught us, all right, and I still use this. When I see a negative and a negative, we put those together as one big thing and actually turn it into a positive. Do you see how if you took one stick and you laid them over top of each other, it makes the plus sign or the positive symbol or the cross, whatever you want to call it, okay? That's actually what we were taught was if you can take your two sticks, we always usually call them sticks, if we can take our two sticks and lay them across each other, it turns into a positive answer, all right? Now, let me actually demo really quick for you why this is actually a positive, because this is why people this is where they get confused. So let me show you this real quick, all right? Let me draw just a really quick number line, and we're going to do negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's use my previous example. So we said that 2 times 2 equals 4, right? We've known that since 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, whatever it was, all right? This means that I need to, the first number means you face the way you need to travel. We need to go towards the positives, right? Because it's a positive number. Well, the second number tells you how many jumps you need to, or the increments of the jumps. So I need two groups of 2. So in this case, I would jump one group of 2 and another group of 2, and that gets me a positive 4. Okay, so now that you understand that, let me show you this. And sorry if you can hear all that noise out there. They are doing construction over in the parking lot right now. So sorry if you can hear all that. All right, so now let's try another one. So we learned a while ago that negative 2 times 2 was negative 4. Well, this time the first number is negative, so he actually needs to be facing towards the negatives, all right? Well, he needs to do a jump 2 times in increments of 2. So when you jump negative 2, 2 times, you actually end up at -4. All right, so that's where a negative times a positive becomes a negative. So how does a negative times a negative then become a positive? And this is where everyone's like, ah, now I understand. All right, which way are you facing? You're facing the negatives, right? You're facing this way. However, you need to go negative. When you go negative, that means you're walking backwards, right? Okay, or you're going in reverse. So you're actually not hopping forward. Even though you're facing towards the negatives, you need to jump backwards. So when you jump backwards, you're going to jump 2 and then 4. All right? So that's how it actually works. So although you're facing the negatives, you're actually doing like leaps backwards. All right, let me show you one more to help you kind of understand that concept. Okay, so let's reverse it. Let's do -2. No, let's see, I just did that one. Let's do the opposite here. Let's do 2 times -2. Let's do it that way. All right, so when I see 2, that means I actually need to face the positives, right? All right, so if I'm facing towards the positives, but I need to jump backwards in increments of 2. All right, and I need to do 2 sets of those. So when I jump backwards, I go 1, 2, and that gives me my -4. All right, so I hope that kind of helps you understand why a negative times a negative actually is a positive. All right, it just has to deal with where you're at on the number line and how you're jumping. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and try the next example. It says an airplane descends at a rate of 175 feet per minute. What is the airplane's change in altitude after 5 minutes? Write a multiplication expression, then find and interpret the product. All right, so what we have is we have the keyword descend. All right, those of you that are in music, okay, you should know that a decrescendo means we get really, really soft, right? And a crescendo means we get really, really loud, right? So we're going to go down, okay, we're going down. So we're going to go down 175 feet, and we need to do this for 5 minutes. So we're going to multiply by 5. Parentheses in math simply means times 5. Okay? Now, we need to solve this, so let's go ahead and do that. And let me work mine out over here. So we're going to take 175. We're going to multiply times 5. So that would be 25, carry the 2. That's going to give us 35, 36, 37, and 5, 6, 675. Okay? So that gives us -675. All right, so we wrote the expression. Okay, that's this part right here. So circle that. That was the first part of the answer. Next, we need to interpret the product. So what does -675 actually mean? It means that we went that many feet. All right, so both of these are actually my answer. Okay, so make sure you follow the prompt completely. Make sure you answer all of everything. Okay, when you're ready, go ahead and turn the page, and let's try the got it question by ourselves, and come back to me just as soon as you're ready. And let's take a look. It says a scuba diver descends from the surface at a rate of 7 feet per minute. What was the scuba diver's depth after 15 minutes? Write a multiplication expression, then find and interpret the product. So in this case, we're going down again. Okay, so we're going down 7 feet per minute. So down 7, and we're going to do this for 15 minutes this time. Okay, so we need to take 7 times 15. So let's work that out real quick. Get 105. Okay, so it's -105, and in this case, again, that would be the number of feet. All right, so again, here's my answer, and here's my answer. Okay, it's always a good idea to put a little box or a circle around stuff, especially if you have multiple parts of the question going on there. All right, okay, let's take a look at example 4. Let me slide this down a little bit. Here we go. All right, it says find -4 times 12 times -5. Now, there's two ways you can do this. The first way is to just work it exactly how you see it. So we'll take -4 times 12, come up with that answer, and then get that times -5. Or what you can do is multiply all three numbers together and then come back and figure out the signs. You can do it either way, and I'll show you both ways. So let's do it the first way first, and then I'll come back and show you the second way. So we're going to do -4 times 12. So we know 4 times 12 is 48. And then there's opposite signs, so that's going to make it negative. All right, now we need to multiply that by -5. All right, that's going to give us 240. And it's going to be positive because, again, we have same signs. Same signs are positive, different signs are not. All right, now let me show you the other way. What I would have actually done is I would have actually grouped these because I know that 4 times 5 is 20, so that would make it really easy. And it's a -4 times a -5, but for now, let's just get the number. So I would know that this is 20 times 12, and I can do 20 times 12 in my head really, really quickly, whereas the 48 times 5 I had to think about for a minute. So that gives me my 240. Now what you do is we count the negatives. All right, so let's make a little note here. So when you count negatives, here's your rule. If you have an odd number of negatives, and that's number sign, not hashtag, if it's an odd number, it's going to be negative. If there's an even number, then it's going to be a positive. All right, and that's really the way we learned it in school too. We didn't really use the rules that you guys have now. Okay, so we have two negatives. That's an even number. 2 is even, so that makes it positive. And that's how we got it. All right, so you can do it either way. You can use the different signs rule. You can do the stick way, because I like to say 2 sticks makes a positive, and they typically remember that pretty well too. All right, you can do it lots of different ways. Okay, go ahead and pause and try 4A and 4B. All right, let's take a look. So we have -7 times 9 times -6. All right. So let me group them, and let's just do 63 times 6. That's going to be easiest. So we'll do 63 times 6. That's going to be 18. Carry the 1. That's going to be 3, 7. So 378. We have two negatives. 2 is even, so that makes it positive. All right, next one over here, we have 3 times 4. That's 12. 12 times 5 makes it 60. We have 3 negatives, so that makes it odd, which makes it negative. All right. Okay, let's try example 5. I don't know why the thing jumps all the time like that. There we go. Nope, went too far. Seems like I have to click it on the computer itself or it just goes berserk. All right. We need to simplify -7a times 4b. Well, it's actually easier than what this looks, all right? They're probably like, oh, Lord, what's this? All right, it's actually not that bad. First, get the number part. So we have -7 times -4. We know that that is -28. The letters just go on the back, guys. All right, that's it. It's kind of like 2 last names, all right? Like some girls now, they keep their original name plus their married name, so they do 2 names. All right, that's kind of what we're talking about here. Okay, so go ahead and pause it and try the next one. If you're still not quite sure, do 5A with me, then pause it, and then try 5B on your own and come back to me then. All right, let's take a look. We have -3 times 6y. So a -3 times 6 would be -18. Oops. And that's just y. All right. Let's try 5b. We have -9x times 3y, so -9 times 3 makes -27. And then we have x, y. And your variables or your letters always go in alphabetical order. Even if they're not in alphabetical order in the problem, in your answer, they do need to be in alphabetical order. Okay, that's just how we write them. Okay, let's try example 6. We're going to evaluate 3xy if x equals 2 and y equals -6. So we have 3 times 2 times -6. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times -6 then would be -36, right? One negative makes it negative. All right, go ahead and pause if you need to. And let's try the got it questions by ourselves. And come back to me just as soon as you're ready. And let's take a look. So we have to evaluate 2rs if r equals 5 and s equals 10. So what this really means is 2 times 5 times negative 10. Okay, so 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times negative 10 makes it negative 100. Okay, 6b, evaluate 4ab if a equals negative 8 and b equals negative 4. So that'll be 4 times negative 8 times negative 4. All right, so let's do 4 times negative 8. That gives us negative 32. Negative 32 times 4. We know it's positive something. I'm not sure what yet. 126. No. Sorry, 8. 128. Yeah, 128. Once in a while I'll make a mistake, so if I do, sorry. All right, so 128. And that's it. All right. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.